Joining me now for further discussion on this and analysis is Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler. Sir, it's good to have you back as always. Aren't our Democrat rulers setting the tone in this country by ignoring the law, whether it's at the border or in Democrats' crime-ridden streets? Won't many in this country start asking themselves, hey, if Democrats don't obey the law, why does the law apply to any of us?
Exactly. The law has to apply to everybody, or it doesn't apply to anybody. But the Democrats always say that there's two justice systems in the United States. We've got a two-tier justice system. They're correct. It just happens that the justice system is focused, one part of it's focused on Republicans and law-abiding citizens. The other one is focused on Democrats or who they perceive as victims. But I could go on. But this chaos of the southern border, it is going to haunt the Democrats in the 2022 election and the 2024 election. Already, you're seeing Hispanic voters identify with Republicans by over 50%. That is something that would have been unheard of 10 or 12 years ago. It's because of the chaos of the southern border and also the positions basically supporting abortion on demand, which doesn't sit well with Catholic voters in particular, that's driving the Hispanic vote our way. And we hear people say ad nauseum that demographics is destiny. I can tell you that if the Republicans get the majority of the Hispanic vote, the Democrats will not be a national party. It'll be a party that will be relegated to the coast and Chicago. The Republicans will have everything else.
Well, with 26% approval rating among the Hispanics, we Hispanics to Joe Biden, that's looking like a likelihood because, again, Democrat policies are harming Latinos all over this country, in particular in Texas, and the Democrat Party doesn't give a damn. Congressman, you heard Joe Biden in the preamble repeating the false claim that the United States has lower inflation rates than the rest of the world. When compared to other countries, we're among the highest in the developed world. How many Americans can actually pay their bills, put food on the table with Mr. Biden's falsehoods?
Well, there's three things about Biden and the Democrats saying that this is a global issue. Number one is the voters don't care. The voters are concerned with what's happening right here in the United States. And they know when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, they are paying more, and they're paying more because Joe Biden failed Democrat policies. That's number one. Number two, from an economics point of view, of course, the world is having an inflation problem because the United States is having an inflation issue. Last time I checked, we're the reserve currency. So it only stands to reason that the rest of the world, which is using US dollars as its reserve currency, is going to be experiencing inflation. That's how economics works. Additionally, we're the world's largest economy. We have the biggest GDP. So if we're having inflation, the world is having inflation because with our exports, we're exporting inflation with it. This is very simple economics. Yeah. But at the end of the day, voters don't care what groceries cost in France. They care what it costs right here in the United States.
Well, no kidding. And of course, happy talk isn't going to fill up your gas tank. Happy talk and saying everything's okay, as Mr. Biden is saying, isn't going to help anybody pay their bills. Wanted to get you to weigh in on another farce, the sham January 6th kangaroo court. Former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson standing by her unverified hearsay testimony. The Secret Service that was actually present during the alleged incident was not asked to testify in the kangaroo court. What does that say in your mind about the legitimacy of this hearing when Liz Cheney, Crying Kinzinger, and Adam Schiff are ignoring witnesses with firsthand knowledge of an incident in favor of a third-hand testimony, unverified third-hand testimony?
Well, you described it correctly as a kangaroo court. This is a show trial at the heart of it. And the fact that you don't have any Republicans on there, remember, Nancy Pelosi refused to have Jim Banks and Jim Jordan on the committee. So Kevin McCarthy pulled all the Republicans. At this point, I do not consider Kinzinger or Cheney as there to defend the conservative agenda. So in essence, there is no opposition to the Democrats. And that's on display when you hear testimony that is third-hand testimony and evidence with firsthand witnesses with firsthand knowledge and firsthand evidence are not brought forward. There's also no cross-examination going on. But let's just go back to why this is illegitimate. It's illegitimate also because for a committee in Congress, it has to have a legitimate legislative purpose. There is zero legislative purpose in this committee. They're not looking to how they can strengthen security moving forward. They're not looking to see what decisions Nancy Pelosi and others at the Capitol made that led to the issues on January 6th. What they're trying to do is two things simultaneously. Number one, they're trying to set this up so the DOJ can move forward with the prosecution. Newsflash, Congress doesn't do that. That is up to the executive branch. They prosecute. If Merrick Garland thought this was a colorable case, trust me, he's a political activist. He's a political hack. He would bring charges against President Trump. Those charges haven't come. The second purpose of this is to try Donald Trump or impeach him a third time in the court of public opinion. It's not going to work.
Right.
The cake is already baked with Donald Trump. You either love him or you hate him. The American people see through this for what it is, a kangaroo court, a sham court, a show trial. Call it what it is. At its heart, it's illegitimate, and no one cares about this. You know what the American people think of when they think about January 6th? They think about when they used to go to the gas pump and pay $2.20 a gallon on average. That is the reality.
Right.
If you're not here in the Washington, D.C. bubble, or if you're not sitting there listening to NPR for 24/7 with your tote bag and your 7 cats that are running around, you don't care about January 6th. You care about real pressing issues, Chris.
No, I'm right there with you. You know, your colleague, Daryl Issa, a good friend of the Chris Salcedo show, said that Kinzinger and Cheney are now caucusing with the Democrat Party. I think that's a very true statement. Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, sir, appreciate your time as always.